Welcome to the 1% Better Recruitment Podcast. I'm your host, Charles Kiriakou. If you're new around here, this podcast ultimately aims to get you 1% better every single episode, but it's unlike most recruitment podcasts. We have a lot of fun on this show. We share some crazy stories, wild anecdotes. We talk about some things that you probably won't hear on most recruitment podcasts. But at the end of the day, my whole goal is to elevate the industry at least 1% after each episode. You probably noticed I'm wearing my Milo t-shirt. So myself and two other trainers have set up a new business, which is AI role plays, AI coaching, backed with over 100 videos from 3 expert trainers in the recruitment field. So if you are interested in that, we are in the process now of trying to raise some funding. So we need all the help that we can get, but it's going to be such an exciting product to take to market. So yeah, if you want to get involved in that, reach out to us. And if you are enjoying the podcast and you're not following on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or subscribing here on YouTube, what the heck are you doing? Let's get into this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoy. Si, thank you very much for coming on the podcast, coming around the house, and also thank you very much for the gift that you gave our beautiful daughter. Thank you very much, mate.
No problem at all. Whoever's next on has got to follow suit now.
I know. I was saying to you, right? I had Roxanne, the last person to come round. She was the first person to bring merch. You're the first person to bring gifts. Yeah. Next guest, bring nice things.
There's a John Lewis in Welwyn Garden City, in case anyone. Although, do you know what? I got there and it doesn't open until 9:30.
Oh,
so
really?
I was stood outside at 9:10,
Oh,
freezing as well.
Oh, no.
But yeah.
Oh, no, I appreciate it, mate. So, as I said, the format, obviously, people that may or may not know you, just give us a bit of an intro. Full transparency, I think anyone that's in the recruitment industry, if they don't know you, like, have they been living under a rock? Like, I mean, you're pretty much everywhere, right? So, but obviously, just tell us a little bit about currently what you're doing, a little bit about your background and things like that.
Yeah, cool. So I was a recruiter for very many years. Classic, obviously, fell into it. I actually sold gym memberships. Is how I got into sales in around North London, actually.
Yeah.
LA Fitness in New Barnet was where I first sold gym
No way,
memberships.
that was my first ever recruitment job in New Barnet, right near that. Yeah, that's
near Spires,
crazy.
the Spires shopping centre.
Yeah.
Because we had to do outreach every single day to go get leads. So you'd stand outside Spires. It's one way to teach sales is getting random people to give you their contact details on the high street, which just wouldn't happen now, would it? Yeah. So I started out in sales in gyms and then got into recruitment. I almost went into the estate agency, but I played football on a Saturday. And so I didn't want to work Saturdays. Fair. So then it was recruitment. Did that for very many years. I was so rubbish in my first year, like so bad. I'm pretty sure I only kept my job because I was like early in, last out, trying, and I was a bit of a laugh with the lads, basically. And then found my feet in the enterprise tech market, placing contractors on large scale transformation programs. Really fascinated about the program side of it. Always worked closely to founders. Became an ops manager because no one in my agency knew how to use Excel. I was the only one. Literally, they were like, "Oh, we need to pull some reports." I was like, "Oh, I know how to use Excel," and then that was it. I was ops manager. Held a couple of roles through my career in agency, up to COO of a hedge fund recruitment business. But for the last 2.5 years, I have been working through my limited company, Embedded Ops, which I'm the founder of alongside my Mrs. Cheryl. And I work with recruitment agencies of all different shapes and sizes on all things rec tech, rec agency ops, looking to drive productivity, profitability, all through processes. I always bang on about processes more important than tech. And as you alluded to, I suffer from FOMO, so I go to as many events as I can. But you know what? That people just think I like going out, but I mean, I enjoy going out. The hangover's a little bit harder to deal with, especially with twins at home. Plus, trying to manage work events and a QPR season ticket doesn't go down very well with Cheryl all the time. But I was very intentional when I launched Embedded Ops. I was like, I want to network, I want to get to know people. I do enjoy it. I think it's my superpower.
Yeah, you're very good
at networking and getting to know people and connecting the dots with people. I think you have to be that way when you do contracts enterprise tech, because you need to know the program managers, you need to know the program directors, you need to know who's good, who's not, you need to know all that stuff. So yeah, that's a bit of background about me.
Yeah, nice. I mean, there's loads there, but the one thing that you said that, well, there's one thing that you said there around process is more important than tech, right? So for what I do when I go into a business, like I always say to founders, like the first thing I do is kind of like a mechanic when they do MOT, right? Open the hood, do a bit of diagnostic, look around. And pretty much every business I've ever worked with, there's always going to be holes in processes, right?
Yeah.
Always. So before we talk about like the tech stuff, because I think the last like 2 episodes, Austin and Nicholas, we talked a lot about reducing tech stack, and a lot of businesses now are CRM, LinkedIn, VoIP system, maybe a data scraping tool, and that's kind of it. Maybe Sourcewell, shout out Sourcewell. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about process. Like, I'm assuming it's going to be very different for different types of businesses, your contracts, your executive search, etc. But you know, when you're working with a business and you're trying to understand what their processes are, like talk us through that whole process and how you help businesses.
So much like you with the diagnostic element, I quite often, the first engagement I'll do with an agency is an audit. And I kind of provide like a menu item of stuff that people would like to have audited. So it might be that they want to have their BD process, their sourcing process, the account management or contractor onboarding. But like you say, it's different by different agencies. I think there are loads of people that know how to map a process. It's an academic exercise, right? You can find that on YouTube and teach yourself. I think it's overlapping that with domain expertise, lived experience, where you know what the recruiter shortcuts are. Because I worked with an agency the other day who had their IT support company come in and do some process mapping stuff. And they came out and they produced these wonderfully beautiful documents and stuff like that. And I went, do you know what this looks like? This looks like the academic guide. This looks like what Hayes put in front of their 10,000 grads every year and say, this is how you should do recruitment. This isn't how your recruiters are doing it, because they've been asked a question, oh, how do you do this? And they've given the academic answer. So what I'd like to do on that process piece is really get down into not what's the academic answer to this, but how are you actually doing it? Where are your bottlenecks? What do you like? What do you not like? I oftentimes turn up with donuts and recruiters will sit in a room with me and have chew on the donuts, and then they'll be telling me, oh, such and such never updates the database and this system's really rubbish, you've got to click here, click there. That's like the level of granularity I try to go into with some of the process stuff. I visit a lot of agencies and I call them spit and sawdust agencies, like, you know, like the Gold's gyms of the world, like they're literally just like bars and plates and dumbbells. And you go into these agencies and it's literally whiteboard, marker, phone, and ACRM, right? They're not doing any whizzy stuff, but every single one of them is following a process. And I don't mean that like as a business process. I mean, they qualify in the same way, using the same templates. And after that, they know what each next step is. So if a candidate says A, they know what to do. If a candidate says B, they know what to do. And they're very, very process driven, but they don't know it. Like you go into these agencies, they're like, oh yeah, we're like a salesy businessman, like 4 hours a day on the phone, like, you know, we don't know process. And then you spend some time with them and you're like, actually, you have a phenomenal sales process. And if you just systemized a little bit of this and started capturing some of the good data points, all you would do is create a blueprint to drop more recruiters into it. The process first approach, a lot of the time for me, is because it gets to the nitty gritty of what the recruiters are doing every day. I obviously hang around with loads of trainers as well, like Kate Neal, Jeremy Snell, like you, Naz, Bobby. I see all the trainers around. I would say my number one recommendation off the back of the audits is usually training and not system related or anything like that. It's like your recruiters. Either your recruiters aren't doing enough, so they need to be managed better, or your recruiters are trying their hardest, but they are woeful on the phone.
It's a skill in the will, isn't it? Like I can spot that, like in the first, when I do the diagnostic and I go in and I sit down with someone and I'm having a conversation, looking at them doing their job, and I'm like, this person's a grafter. Like I'm looking at their analytics, I'm seeing how many calls they're doing, I'm seeing how many CVs and interviews, but then I look at their ratios. I'm like, the ratios are absolutely abysmal. Why are they abysmal? And then you hear them on the phone and I'm like, do you know how many open questions you use? They're like, huh? Like, open questions, right? And they're like, open questions? Sorry, you're a senior consultant and you don't know what an open question is. And I'm like, okay, so you're a skill issue. And then you got other people that are very skillful. Like they're talented, they're great, they're brilliant at building rapport on the phone. But they've made like 5 BD calls.
All day.
And then they'll sit there and go, oh yeah, no one picks up the phone. You've made 5 fucking calls, geez.
What
do you expect?
It's like, so true. Do you know, it's so funny to talk about ratios. I'm driving up to Peterborough after this, and one of the last documents I sent these guys is a ratios guide, because I'm working with them on on an assessment checklist. So basically I've created an assessment checklist which goes through so did the audit, came up with what their core processes are to do good recruitment in their market, in their industry, across 2 divisions, created an assessment checklist where we go, right, 1 to 4, like help identify the skill and the issues. off the back of the assessment exercise, you should be able to spit out an L&D program development plan for these folks. And then I sent the ratios guys so that they know actually if this ratio looks wonky, what causes it? What's like root cause analysis is so important with problems. People go problem solution, and you hear that so much. Like you have to solve problems, and that's when people buy. Yeah, that's selling. But if you're in a business and it's your business, your people, you want to develop people, you have to go problem, root cause, and then solution, and then execute. But it's so funny you mentioned ratios. I bang on about ratios all the time. It's the quality metric. And I get asked all the time, what's the best metric to measure? I'm like, well, it depends. If you're a candidate short market, I'd want to measure how many like quality calls are turning into CV submissions and things like that. Like I'd want to know activity to output ratios and stuff. So I think L&D bleeds through everything in recruitment because continuous improvement is a concept that enterprise organizations hold, right? And they are billion dollar organizations. Yeah. So continuous improvement as a thought process should be ingrained in everyone, right? And actually, I think in society now, everyone's a bit more mindful about being continuously improving themselves 100%. And stuff, which is a good thing. So I think L&D bleeds through everything we do. And I just think ops is starting to bleed through everything we do because now it's not us versus them, sales versus ops. Because like sales versus non-sales, I see L&D folks getting bucketed into ops, right? More often than not. But no, I think it bleeds across the business now, and I think people are a bit more wiser. Yeah,
100%. When I first got into L&D, and I've probably said this on the podcast before, during my interview process, the founders were like, what are you going to do when people are essentially going to chat shit to you saying like, why aren't you in sales? He's fallen off. If people are just listening, my dog's just fallen off the sofa. Come up here, you silly bastard. Come on. People, he said, what are you going to do basically? People are going to say, oh, you're a failed recruiter, and he looks at my CV and he was just like, your numbers like are amazing. Like, why aren't you going for a sales director role? You could earn more money.
Yeah.
And that's like the number one thing in recruitment, isn't it? Everyone thinks that people get into, and largely they do, like money orientated. Like I'm 32 now. When I got into L&D, I hadn't turned 30 yet. I think I was like 27, 28. And I was like, I've got a house, got a car, I'm married, I'm going to get married soon. Like I've got those things. Like sure, I want a nice quality of life, but my thing is I want to follow my passion. And I know if I follow my passion and get really fucking good at it, the money will follow. I'm not worried about earning 100K a year right now. I just want to do what I'm good at. And I remember when I first started and I'm, on desk helping people and all the rest of it. And I sat with the ops team. Yeah. And I had this weird like personality crisis because I'd been a sales guy and a sales manager for like 7, 8, 9 years. And now I'm like in ops. And there was that weird sort of dynamic of like, I'm sat with the internal recruiter or people ops, operations manager, finance, constantly speaking to marketing on Zoom every day. And it did feel like a bit of a divide. And then in fairness, at the time I was a little bit, because I quite liked when I had to do presentations and reports and stuff, I didn't want to be around the salespeople because you know what it's like, fucking banter everywhere. I'm like, I just need to
hard to concentrate.
Just hard to concentrate, especially when you've got ADHD as well. I'm like, fuck off, leave me alone. But then after a while, I was like, right, so me and my L&D consultant were just hot desk. Every single day, I'd go and sit next to you one day, then I'd go and sit next to so-and-so the other day. And then it was like, I'm part of the sales team now. Do you know what I mean? I'm sitting there working with people. And then when I consult with people, sometimes I'll say to my clients, can I just come and do a day in your office just to do my own sales? And I'll come in and people are like, oh, you're right, mate. Are you working with us today? I'm like, no, I'm just doing some sales. And then I just be like, first person to book a meeting wins. And people are like, wait, what? The trainer's in like doing sales calls with us. This is so fucking odd. And I'm just like, but like you can learn from me. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, and also for me, like doing BD at home in the office, especially with a baby and a fucking mental dog, ain't the easiest feat in the world. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think I do think it's changed now where L&D operations are not seen as they're important. They're and marketing as well.
Marketing. I think all of those like sort of business support services, as they were called before, were seen as costs, whereas actually now I think people are a bit more wiser. My favorite 3 letters that have like emerged now, and I hear it so much more now than I ever did. Like, and sometimes people like I'm on calls and people can't wait to get the 3 letters out. Is ROI. I was pitching the other day for a project, and it was to project manage an implementation of a CRM and then also do some upskilling of their internal ops team so that we leave behind some knowledge behind. And there was the finance guy on the call, and I could just see him itching, desperate to get involved to say something. And I was like, I wish I could have had a bingo card. I was just like, I know he's going to fucking say and what's the ROI of working with you? I was like, well, you know, you're the finance director. You work out. You're about to spend six-figure sum of money on this software that's gonna, and you've got 40 recruiters, and you pay them X amount of money, and if their productivity gets hit because you fuck this implementation up, you work it out. What do you want me to? I get. I should do that. It should be my sales process, but I'm just not that. I'm not that salesy, if I'm honest. I quite like just. You know, I get a lot of inbound. I'm quite fortunate. I don't have to do a load of outbound stuff, but every now and again, I will have like a day where I just call my contacts and I just check in with people, and that always churns out some stuff. But that piece around sitting around the sales floor, embedded ops, the reason why I called it embedded ops was it was a bit of a play on embedded talent, because embedded TA was such a big thing a few years back. So it was a play on that, but it's because I worked at agencies where we had NEDs and strategic advisors. Now, there are some amazing NEDs and strategic advisors out there, but there are also some that are probably nicking a living, right? They just like turn up, charge you $5,000 a month. They tell you to make more money and spend less money, and it's like, brilliant, thank you so much for that. And I worked at a couple of agencies, one agency in particular where we had one of those NEDs, and I was like, sat in the room. I was the ops manager at the time. Sat in the room going, fucking hell, that was not helpful in any way. Well, how? You want us to make more money but spend less money? Like a GCSE business studies student can tell us that. This just cost us $5,000 for 2 hours in the boardroom, plus the cost of the meeting room that we booked. And then you had so I found a bit of a gap between like the strategic advisor stuff and then the delta between actually someone helping to execute it. So the premise behind embedded ops was always like, I'm going to come in and I want to be part of your team, and I can network and social within clients and stuff and get to know them pretty well. And that's kind of the sweet spot. So I go into clients' offices, I sit with everyone, I independently go and speak to their recruiters to go find out stuff. Like I just go and make it happen. If I treat it as if I am their COO or ops director or whatever. I don't like the term fractional.
Hey guys, quick one before we jump back into the episode. If you are a recruiter who feels like half your week disappears into admin, follow-ups, data cleaning, and jumping between several different tools, then listen up, because this episode is officially sponsored by Sourcewell. Sourcewell is the recruitment productivity platform, and I don't just mean another tool that you'll forget to use. I mean the tool that actually gives you your time back. You can run your entire desk in one place. Outreach, sourcing, data enrichment, multi-step email and LinkedIn sequences, inbox management, and even call notes. It's all there, synced, automated, and according to their stats, recruiters using Sourcewell see 56% higher response rates, double the pipeline, and approximately save around 8 hours of admin every single week. If you're like me, admin as a recruiter is the devil, and this productivity platform really helps you save a load of time. So reach out to Sourcewell, go to sourcewell.com. It's a fantastic platform. I've used it myself. I really believe in it, and I'm super grateful for them sponsoring the podcast. Let's get back into the episode.
You're not?
Nah.
I've never said the word fractional to people. I've had people say like, you know, like I had a client last year that was like, where like they were basically speaking about maybe me going on permanent with them, and I was like, I don't ever want to work for anyone ever again. There's a story behind that, and they didn't mention the word fractional. And I've seen some other trainers and some business people say they do fractional stuff. But what's your?
I posted about it on LinkedIn because not long ago, because I was like, does anyone fucking know what it means? Like I was like, so how I work is I either charge you X amount to do an audit and provide a report, or I give you a day rate, and the more days you commit to, the lower the rate is. There's no great algorithm behind it. It's like, that's just how it works. So if it's a 3-month project, you need me 3 days a week, it's going to be cheaper than if you want me to come in 1 day a month. And then so I was like, what's that? So my 1 day a month clients, are they fractional clients or not? I couldn't work out. And there was loads of people debating. And there was actually a lady, she was quite insightful actually. I can't remember her name, but she runs a business called The Fractionals. So literally a business to provide fractional services. Fair. And she defined it really well around having a portfolio of clients that you work with and having a portfolio career yourself as the consultant, which makes sense. But I don't know. I just like, I don't like the connotation behind it. Like I don't want the client to feel like they've got a fractional service, because my clients call me all the time. I've had 3 clients call me this morning, like just about random things, like, oh, sorry, I heard this, what do you reckon, or an update on this. It's like, I want it to be like that.
That makes sense.
It's very limiting though. Like it's been a challenging year for myself. Business has been fine, but like I can't work out what am I enjoying doing the most. Like I've done a lot of work that I haven't enjoyed, and I'm just like,
I've been there.
I'm just like, what am I doing? And so I've got 2 weeks off at Christmas. So I think the 18th is my last working day. Cheryl's Christmas do is on the 19th, so I've got the kids that day. So from then to the 5th, all I'm doing is whiteboarding embedded ops stuff.
It's literally what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm grateful you said that, because this year, like, and I think one of the first podcasts I did in Q1, I was in a bit, not a dark place, but I basically spent 11 grand on a patio. I had a pipeline of like 5 times that, and 4 out of 5 dropped on the 2nd of Jan. People with the wrong mindset, looking at it as a cost rather than an investment. I've gone in, I've worked with them, I've met them, I've done the diagnostic, and they've all just come back and said, I had one client that lost 100 grand's worth of business and was like, let's just pause things, and nothing came to fruition.
And what can you do there? Like, what can you do? Like,
one thing I realised is that you can follow the best process in the world, and sometimes shit happens.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean? Shit just happens.
and I'm not even begrudging of firms in that sense. Like, I look at them and I'm like, mate, 100 grand. Like, you know,
I get it.
You've got people to feed.
Yeah, I totally understand. From my perspective, from a selfish point of view, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Because I've just spent 11 grand on a fucking patio. And I'm like, you know, like, I had the money, and the thing is, I'm not stupid. I wouldn't buy that if I didn't have the money for it. I bought it knowing I've got money and I've got savings. I could buy it twice, but the pipeline is going to help me pay off my credit cards and stuff like that. So when that didn't happen, I was like, shit. Now I've got to go back out, and then, because all of November, December the year before was just BD. And as you know, January, sweet. And then January came, and 4 out of 5 just didn't turn up, right? So I had to go a bit crazy with the BD, and then pulled a few businesses, done an academy, and everything was great. But then I started to do things like one-off online training sessions where I had to spend a whole day figuring out, like, how am I going to put this presentation together about all 3 random topics that are kind of different, and designing an academy for someone.
No one sees all of that work you do behind the scenes for that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
No one sees it all.
And then designing an academy for someone, like, it was an okay little payday, but like, I had the academy already, but then it was like designing it for an executive search firm, but then they were delivering it, and I was like, if I'm going to design a presentation, I design it in mind to how I'm going to present. Because for me, like, similar to you, like, when I'm in an office and I'm surrounded by people, I love that. I love being like the guy that's like super animated, like, right, what about you? Getting everyone involved. But sitting behind a computer designing a presentation, like, I don't mind doing that like once a month. But if that's the whole project, I'm like,
And also designing slides for yourself versus, so those presentations and decks for other people to deliver, you're essentially building guides. And I just think, like, because I've had that happen to, so the ratios guide that I've just done, that is essentially me creating something for them to then use. And I put it together, and I can put it together, but I would put it together differently if I'm delivering a session on it versus someone else having to do it. But I think one of the biggest, I don't think I'm a control freak. I don't think I'm a control freak, because I'm quite, like, I've always been collaborative. I love working in projects and stuff like that. I'm all for that. I think I could have used external folks or subbed in some other consultants and stuff. I just think that I don't think I'm better than all of them, but I do think that I care the most. And I think if you care the most, because it's your brand, your reputation, invariably you're going to do a better job potentially than others. So I've worked in collaboration with some other consultants, and it's worked. I'm kind of at the point now where I'm like, I'm leaving loads of work out there on the table, which I think I could help solve problems for. I think I need to release some of the workload to other people. ChatGPT has been brilliant. I've built so many, like, cool GPTs now, which is really helping me. Like, my audit report GPT, wow, it used to take me, like, I used to pour my heart and soul into these audit reports. I used to literally type them out, and there's nothing fancy. Like, I literally open Word, put the section headers in, and I just type everything that I found out and stuff like that. So I really put loads of effort into them, and sometimes people are like, yeah, thanks. I don't even think they look at them. Honestly, I don't think they look at them. Sometimes people come back and say, oh, we thought we were going to get a bit more. And I'm like, how much more? Like, the idea is you've got to pay me now to come in and deliver it, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm trying to get a bit smarter around that sort of stuff, trying to work out what do I enjoy doing the most. RecExperts is something that we're launching soon. Didn't mention that in my intro, but that's a really cool concept, which again is non-consultancy, but it works nicely alongside it. That's been fun building that out. I mean, you're going through it with Milo at the moment, like platform products, solutions. It's a trip, isn't it? Like, it's a whole new learning curve. So that's definitely something I'm investing my time in for next year. I just got to nail what I want to do every single day with embedded ops. And I think the answer is 4 to 5 high value clients that really get what we do, value the engagement, and you can deliver some like meaningful results, of which I think I've got 2 or 3, but I think I could do with a couple more. But it's been one of those years, like I haven't enjoyed every minute. I've enjoyed a lot of it, but not every minute, and I think life's too short to not be enjoying it.
100%, especially when you're doing your own thing as well. Like especially this year, I fully understand that you can't always do 100% of the things that you love doing. There are going to be aspects, like for me, I'm a salesperson at heart. I hate admin, right? ChatGPT has been an absolute godsend. You know, when you were talking about the reports, oh my God, mate. When I was an L&D manager and I would do the coaching sessions, I would have these Word reports that I'd type manually after each session, similar to like doing a whole client call and then finishing it and then from memory typing your notes from the client call. That's what I used to do. Now I've just got AI note trackers or takers on my phone and on my laptop. So every coaching session, the note taker's taken everything for me, whack it into ChatGPT, it's got my memorized report. Then I just go through and make sure it doesn't look like AI. And sometimes it will pick up random things like someone will be like, how's your little one getting on? And in the report it says, discuss challenges with baby. I'm like, no, get rid of that. The guy's 20, you don't have a kid, fuck off. But that's been really, really helpful. But I do understand, especially now, you know, like trying to launch a new business and stuff, like we have fucking operational, like maybe you don't mind that type of stuff, but like when we're talking about budgets and we're talking about like finances and stuff, and I'm just sat there and I'm like, all I want to do is just go and meet people, get a fucking MVP bill and just demo. I said to Naz and Bobby, like, moving forward, when we've got a product, I'm going to be the guy that's going to be selling this thing better than anyone. I know it because that's my fucking thing. I'm amazing in front of someone. The other stuff, I know I have to do it, but it's just long.
I get asked quite a lot by people who listen to the podcast what I do and how I can help them. So just to give you a bit of an intro, I work with anything from trainee to founder and everything in between within the recruitment space and offer coaching and training services. So if it's business development, mindset, confidence, if it's even the advanced thing like the NLP hypnotic language patterns to help influence get higher terms, setting RPOs, retainers, all those types of things, and everything I do around the coaching basis is very, very practical. It's not just theory. I work one-to-one with people. I work with large recruitment teams. A lot of what I do is on site. A lot of what I can do can be remote as well. I've worked with businesses all over the world since doing my own business. So if you are interested in getting 1% better and want to work with someone that can help you on that basis, and there's a clear ROI, I've worked with people that have 10x their ROI working with me in just 3 months. So if you are interested, all my details are in the description of this, of course, on LinkedIn. So drop us a message and let's work together.
It's the founding team for RecExperts is interesting. Because obviously Gary Eldon and Kalpesh Baxi are like advisory level X3 recruitment, Mount Rushmore type guys, right? And then me and Vic are more like consultant levels, probably a little bit behind them. I think I'm probably more around and online than Vic is. But the way that whole thing started was because Kalpesh used to recommend me for rec tech sales ops, and he'd recommend Vic for compliance payroll ops, and she's fantastic. Like I recommend Vic to people for that stuff. So we were all in a three-way chat and just signposting people to one another, and then we were like, "Fucking hell, this is business here, man!" Like we do this all the time, and we used to call ourselves, the group chat is still called the Rec Avengers. Like, that's what it was called. And then we were like, "I think there's a business here," and that's how that's formed. But to the point around like balancing what you all do. We've kind of naturally fallen into some like lanes, and we're having our first board meeting on Tuesday next week. Divisive kindly hosting us for the day, and that's where we split out the roles of responsibility. But you're right, the operational onboarding process headaches, that is such a key part of any business, I think. But if you guys need a hand on that sort of stuff, you should definitely just shout. I mean, you guys could.
Yeah, mate, we've been leading on so many people. We're literally at 12 o'clock today. We're meeting 2 AI experts to talk about the product build. I've been speaking because we're at the stage we're at now. Like we're what is it, 3rd of December now. We've got nearly 20 letters of intent of businesses that are interested in buying the product. So the next step is, I spoke to an investor last night and he was like, if you can crowdfund your first 50 to 100K, like speak to a bunch of wealthy recruitment business owners that have got 10K that they're willing to invest. And look, they either get the product for free for the first year, which saves them 14, 15 grand, or they get your consulting services and just double it. So if you're charging yourself out $1,000 a day, and that's 10K, so that's 10, give them 20 days. Like between you, Naz, Bobby, like it's fine. And then if you go to angels, VCs, then if you can sit there, even if you've raised 30 to 50K and say, we've already raised this amount, we've built the MVP, now we need an additional amount to then build an alpha build, a beta build, etc. But yeah, it's just like it's a fucking minefield, isn't it? Like it is a big minefield because at the minute we're all just solo, like you. Like
you got the day job, you got mortgages to pay, you got families to raise. Like it's a trip, honestly.
It's long.
When I came home and said to Cheryl, "Yeah, I think I'm going to launch another business," I think she didn't say anything. I mean, she's very supportive and stuff like that. But I know inside she was like, "When the fuck are you doing that then?" Because I'm out the door. Most mornings 5:30, and I get home quite late. I mean, I do the most with my kids. Like everyone always says, people who have me on Instagram and LinkedIn always say, like, when do you actually sleep or do stuff that you like? And I was like, well, I go to QPR on a Saturday. That's it. I'm happy. Nice. That's my release, my personal release. But when we said when I said I was going to launch it, I had to really explain the concept behind it. But just taking on so much is so hard. Is the two guys that you're speaking to later, was that a Cowboys recommendation? If so, I know. No,
it's a guy called Rob Saltrees, if you've ever met him. He's been on the podcast before. He's setting up similar to Milo, but it's to help. It's probably worth you connecting with him, actually. He's wicked. He's done so many different startups, both recruitment and tech firms. And he's the admin for this massive female entrepreneur group as well. He's awesome. But I think his business from memory is essentially helping recruitment businesses with the AI strategy and AI tech.
Nice.
So the people that are 100, I'll put you in touch. Yeah. But the people that are helping him build his AI product, he's like, you should speak to them. Just even if it is just learning how to build the tech, what's the running costs, etc., etc. But something I wanted to ask you actually, because you're now the second person in the last 7 days actually that has said about building your own bots. Now, I did a little Google and YouTube search last night about creating your own GPTs, right? Because I am a white belt on ChatGPT, right? I pay £20 a month. I use it for my reports. I brainstorm ideas and stuff like that. It's great. I had a little play around yesterday with like creating your own GPT, and I'll be honest, I feel like I'm the type of person that I need someone to just explain it first, right? So when you said you got a load of GPTs, I had somebody on the podcast on Friday. He came out last week, and he said he's built some bots to help with sourcing and a variety of different things. And he's going to jump on a Zoom call with me soon because he kept on mentioning it. It was like, it's a whole conversation. Like, let's not do this properly on the pod, but if you can just briefly explain it.
What I've got mine doing is, articles, like article writing or like thought leadership piece writing. I've got one that I've trained with. So I uploaded a spreadsheet of loads of my posts.
Okay.
So I literally uploaded a spreadsheet because I didn't want it to rely on it finding stuff online. Uploaded a load of all my posts on LinkedIn, anything I've done, anything I've written for TRN, team, anything like that. The other thing as well, the ChatGPT is very good at finding is transcripts. So when you post yours on YouTube, do you put the transcript up?
Yeah, for all the YouTube description and for my newsletter, I always have the transcripts, So,
and I've been on loads of pods and stuff, webinars and stuff. So it's got so much of my thoughts and content out there anyway, but I bolstered that up. And so now I can ask it to, like, someone asked me to write an article about something, and I go in there and I say, I've been asked to write an article about this, can you put something together in my tone? And like within 10 minutes, it's churned out. And I read it and I'm like, fucking hell, that is actually how I speak. Like, and I ask it to write everything colloquially. So I've got like an article writing one and a newsletter writing one that I'm working on. That needs a bit more refining, I think, because sometimes the ideas are a bit naff. The other one that I've got is the audit report writer, which is brilliant, which is like, right, you are going to act as my, so I call it PMO assistant, my project management office assistant. Yeah. And your responsibility is to write up this report, and you look at the scope in the audit contract, the statement of work, and you take whiteboard screen grabs, you take these notes, and you answer or provide findings and recommendations in this format to the scope. Yeah. And you just tell it that. Give it the example reports, feed everything. And it's like, every single time I ask for this, I will upload this batch and it produces the report. You then have to refine it and stuff, of course. But so that's the report. That's the audit report follow-up one. I've got one that's doing market mapping. Okay. More for recruitment technology and HR tech. Yeah. Because it's important, if I'm advising on recruitment technology, to be, I guess, in the know about not just the current suppliers and their new features. I mean, this morning I did a 7:15 call with Access Group, with their product team in Vietnam and Australia.
Okay.
Because they wanted to show me and Kamal Ladwa, who's a
I
similar.
met him at the Sourcewell event. Yeah, he's awesome.
So me and Kamal were on that with their product team because they wanted to show us a prototype of a product that they got, which is very cool actually. More to come on that one from them. I'm not at liberty to discuss, but it's very cool. But in my head, I was like, I need to be aware of these things. And sometimes what happens is like, you're going to all the events, people naturally come to you to say, hey, I've got a new product. Can I share it to you? But I'll go to an event and I'll meet someone or someone will tell me about a product and I'm almost offended that I don't know about it. So I've got one that is basically constantly scouring the market for basically software or technology companies that say they solve, and I've given it a list of problems that I need it to surface for me, and it's just constantly running and cycling. But it just there are some amazing YouTube videos to help build it. Jeremy Snell's doing a series at the moment, which is how to build like loads of GPTs for recruiters. I joined one of them. I haven't been able to get onto any others. Again, super valuable. Like that's like specific.
I've got a bunch of on my business YouTube channel. I've got in a playlist. I've just saved a load. I think it was yesterday morning when I can't remember who it was I spoke to yesterday morning, and then after just saved a bunch of videos. But I told you yesterday, like the last 2 days, mate. Like I'm grateful you're with me today when I'm alive. The last 2 days, I literally fell asleep on the sofa at 6 o'clock on Monday night. And like we feed the baby at like 6, 7, and then I feed her again at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And poor little girl, she weren't napping at all. And yesterday when my missus was at at her parents' house, and she was like, she's napped like 5 times today, she's gonna be good. And she was brilliant.
Amazing.
So talking about like tough years, mate, like having a baby this year and being self-employed. How old are yours now?
Mine are 4. So I came.
4, okay.
So I came home from my COO job, pretty cushy number. If I'm honest with you, if I wanted to, I think I could have just coasted through that role. It wasn't that challenging of a role, if I'm honest. Nice bunch, not that challenging from a recruitment and operational standpoint. And I came home and I was like, I think I'm going to launch my own thing. And they were like 18 months old or something like that. Or they would have been about 18 months or 2 years old. And 18 months they were actually. I remember now. They were 18 months and I was like, I'm going to leave my 6-figure salary job, which pays a nice pension pot, all these benefits, and I'm going to go out on my own. And do you know what? The company I left kept me on to see for a couple of projects. So I started with a nice book of business.
Nice.
So I had a bit of a 6-month runway. Again, I could afford to get myself out there, build up the personal brand stuff. I never bought into all that personal brand bullshit, but
well, that's come full circle, isn't it?
Just, I have to.
Let's talk about that because I like hearing different people's perspective around the personal brand stuff. If I give you a bit of context, so I didn't know anything about personal branding. We didn't have any personal branding people come in. I would only post like you would back in the day on LinkedIn about live jobs that you're recruiting for. And then one day the marketing manager, and Nicola, she was so passionate about articles, SEO, this and da-da-da-da. She said, I'm thinking about doing some videos for LinkedIn. No one's doing it at the minute. And one day they were recording my colleague doing a video ad, right? And I was like, I think I could do that. First take, smashed it, got about 15 candidates go, oh my God, this sounds amazing. Let's have a conversation. I was like, there's something here. So I started to do some videos just on job ads, and from conversations I've had with clients, like I've just spoken to Sai, he's got this potential role coming up, and generated loads of candidates from it. Then I was like, right, let's do it with candidates, generated loads of clients. Then I was like, let's just share shit I'm doing in my personal life, like my MMA journey, my Thai boxing, family and charity fundraising and stuff. And then all of a sudden I was going to expos and people are going, oh, it's the video guy. And I was like, fuck. And then Hisham, when he left Hoxo and set up his branding company, came in and to be fair to him, I still use that training. Like that's how good it was. When I do academies and stuff, I use his what he did in that session with trainees now. So I'm a big firm believer in it, but the one thing I always say to people is if you're not getting a lot of the inbound stuff from it, but you're noticing that the calls you're having are 99% warm, because I'll be honest, like I'm still figuring out how I can get my posts getting business in, which I'd like to ask you about. But one thing I've noticed is I'll call someone, I've never fucking spoken to them before, and they go, oh yeah, you're the geezer that does this. Oh, how's your kid getting on? I'm like,
I think in the marketing funnel, I think they call that like awareness. People just need to be aware of you. So my take on the whole personal branding stuff was, so I did the dance with all of the personal branding businesses.
Yeah.
The Hawks Show, Amelia Sordell's firm,
Yeah.
another one, Carugo or whatever. And I did it because I was genuinely interested in doing it. I was like, oh, I want to learn about this, and maybe I can pay someone if it's a big enough problem. I can pay someone to help me do it. And when I distilled it down, I think it all came down to just being consistent. And in my head, I was like, my mum would turn in her grave to know that I was spending $6,000 to be consistent, or for someone to tell me to do something every year. And I'm not trying to take away from what these guys do. I get what they do, and it's super valuable. But also in my head, I don't like the idea of people writing stuff for me. I see through so much bullshit all the time. Like I see stuff on LinkedIn, or I've always been good at calling BS on people and stuff. So so I was like, no, I'm just going to do it myself and be disciplined.
Yeah.
So this last 12 months, or the year before, my KPIs were post 5 times a week, every day, 5 times a week, one networking event every week, and then 5 BD meetings per week. That was it. I had those 3 KPIs, whiteboard, chalked it up, marked it off. And what I realized was the content, your posts, have to be designed or contribute to your personal brand and what you're recognized for. And I just found it quite easy to balance it between recruitment CRMs, recruitment tech, twin dad. Like everyone loves pictures of kids. Like I'm very fortunate. A lot of people think my kids are cute, so I'll always use them as marketing props. And I like to have a beer.
Sounds bad when you say that.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And I like to have a beer, so quite often there'll be a photo of me having a drink somewhere. But that's who I am. Like most of the time, I am smiling most days. I just unless I'm balls deep in a Power BI dashboard or whatever, I'm smiling and I'm having a good time. So I found it quite natural and easy. But I still get stumped sometimes. I would say the consistency piece is the reason why I've started to get good inbound. And actually, do you know what? It's no one that likes my stuff is the inbound. Like all the people that like my stuff is, you'll like my stuff. I like your stuff. It's your your circle of friends are all liking it. But it's the amplified power of LinkedIn. So I think this week on Monday, I put a post about the 4 agencies I'm hanging out with and the stuff I'm doing with them. And 2 people booked into my diary. And it's like, I've never heard of these people. One of them, I'd never even heard of the agency before. It's quite a decent sized agency in London. Like, how the fuck do I not know this agency? But then you forget, you're one person, there's 30,000 agencies. I've been doing this for 2.5 years. My CRM's got a pretty decent group of people in it, but that's all people who have attended things I've spoken at, come to webinars I've been on, and people have given me their contact details. I haven't used Lusher or Contact How to scrape data and stuff like that. So my view on it is content is content. You just got to get it out there. But you got to think, how does that feed into my personal brand? So I'm very, very mindful of the type of post I do back to back. So Monday I did this is my week, and tagged all the people I'm hanging out with, including you. Didn't post yesterday because I was on site and the day just became mental. Today I've got a post going out to promote a TRN event that I'm hosting next week. Tomorrow I've got probably a picture of you and me, actually, probably tomorrow, and the dog. And on Friday I've got a cozy clip going out. So I try and balance it. I'm very aware of if I'm just posting network event stuff, that's no good. I want some brand authority. I want some work stuff. I want people to know what I do. I don't go too mad for all the call to action stuff. People you've got to give away white papers or comment this to download this and stuff like that. I'm like, in terms of a sales and marketing funnel as a proper business, that is probably the way to do it. But me, I just want to leverage my personal brand. I just want to leverage content, what I do, my story in the most authentic way possible as who I am. And if people want to work with me, they want to work with me. Yeah. The other thing as well, we're solo, right? So there's 20 days in a month, working days in a month. I don't really want to work all 20 of them, if I'm honest. I'd like to work maybe 14 of them and then have 6 days to work on RecExperts, work on my business. So I want to spend 14 days delivering. And if I'm doing 14 days every single month, I'm earning okay. The kids are fed. I've got beer tokens for QPR. Do you know what I mean? But for me, the personal brand thing, it is a thing, but I think people just think, I think content and personal brand are 2 different things. I think you're posting on LinkedIn is all of the stuff that feeds into what your personal brand is, what people know you for. And I think I get people coming up to me going, Twin Dad, because it's the first thing on my LinkedIn headline, Twin Dad, Agency Ops and QPR. So I'll tell you what, funny story, that QPR mention on my headline has resulted in about 8 meetings.
Really?
Yeah. Just random people messaging me out, and like we'd win at the week, and I'd get a message in my inbox going, "Come on, you Rs," and it'd be like an ops manager from an agency
jokes.
somewhere, and then you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, didn't realise you sport QBR," and they'd be like, "Yeah, my granddad's from there," and all this sort of stuff. So again, just being yourself.
I think that's it, mate. Like that's the thing. Like I probably like you and like many people listening to this can overthink the personal branding and the LinkedIn stuff and figuring out the algorithm and stuff like that. And me and Bobby were speaking about the algorithm the other day, and I was like, mate, like if you're posting stuff that's you and you're posting stuff during the week as well that's adding value to people, that's ultimately all that matters, in my opinion. Like if you're getting a fucking shitload of inbound, great. If you're just creating awareness, great. But if it's you and you're consistent with it, crack on. Like
Consistency is the key.
Is the key, and it's the same thing with the podcast, right? So you look at my YouTube, you look at my Spotify analytics, and Nitin, who does Rec Talk, and he's doing phenomenally well. His advice to me was, don't fucking look at your analytics for the first year, 2 years. Don't, like Spotify every now and then will say, like, the average podcast will have X amount of followers. You have this. Oh, well, that's fucking depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks for that.
Cheers for that.
Cheers,
right? And I get some people like, how's the podcast performing? It's like, yeah, we got 50 views. They're like, is that it? And I'm like, dude, like, it's a new podcast. I don't have a marketing team. I don't have an editor. I do it all by myself and all the rest of it.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not even bothered about, because we do Cozy.
Yeah.
If I'm honest with you, I'm not even bothered about the full episode views.
That's it.
I just look at what the shorts do. And like our short content, the short form content on other channels like LinkedIn, Instagram, like I'm testing Cozy shorts on my Twin Dad Sai Instagram. Literally my Instagram is Twin Dad Sai. And it was like, and it performs so well. So if the show's great, it's the short content afterwards.
It's the short content
that you need to push. I mean, it'd be wonderful to have tens of thousands of people watching an entire show and podcast, but I don't know how much of that actually happens nowadays.
Yeah, exactly, mate. The thing that I was trying to get at is I speak to so many people now that are like, we're thinking about setting up a podcast. And my number one advice to people is, don't invest shitloads of money into it in the early days, right? No one, like, okay, sure, if you've got a studio, if you've got an editor, brilliant. If you can afford it, brilliant. But I know that when I did a podcast when I was a recruiter, my boss would sit down after episode 1 and go, what's the ROI? Your favourite word.
And I'm like, layers, man.
Dude, like we've been doing one episode, like we're not going to get an awful lot of ROI to begin with. No. And then you hear some people like, I want to get, like me, I was like, I want to get a sponsor in my first year, and like Nitin and other people like, sponsorships in what we do, it's not a lot of money, right? Don't put that as your goal, like just be consistent. And when I saw the stat that 10% of podcasts make it past 10 episodes and 1% of podcasts make it past 30 episodes. As soon as I hit 30, I did a LinkedIn post and I was like, I'm in the 1% of podcast, the 1%, you know. And people are like, oh, fuck. Like, it's just about being consistent. And with the podcast, I've got like a spreadsheet of guests and clients won from it and stuff. The ROI has been insane. Like, I think I won a client after like my 3rd or 4th guest, right?
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
That was... I don't know how much the money it was. It was a day a week on site, grand a day or something for like 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, nice.
So you do the maths.
Amazing.
And the amount of I've spent 600 quid on this camera.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before, weren't we? The Osmo Free.
Yeah, like Zoom membership is like £100 a year or something. I bought a Mac, not book, like the Mac Air or whatever it is. It's just a computer essentially. That cost me like I think that cost me £1,000.
Is that for your editing?
That's for the editing, and I've got an ultra wide monitor just for editing and just for the podcast stuff. So I've invested a little bit of money into it, but now it's got to a point where I'm getting consistently people saying I want to be on the show, and people connect. Like my connections have literally doubled since doing the podcast. Like it's been insane. So in terms of like getting my name out there, and obviously when I do Milo, it's like, mate, it's the easiest, and I'm sure you get this, it's the easiest fucking conversation to be like, your business looks cool, I'd like to have you on the podcast. You get them on a call and they go, sorry mate, I've seen your LinkedIn post, can you explain what you do? It doesn't feel like you're selling, do you know what I mean? And for me, talking about personal brand, the reason why I called it the 1% Better Recruitment Podcast is this industry has given me everything I want in life, right? I'm so passionate about it. I got into training because I want to help elevate the industry, and thought, how can I do a podcast that adds to the industry to help it get better while still being me? I don't want it to be a stuffy corporate podcast where, sorry, do you mind not swearing? Oh, can you not talk about your cocaine addiction? Fucking talk about that.
What everyone,
I've literally had people talk about literally being like horrifically addicted to cocaine. I've had people talk about ADHD, being fired from jobs, doing fucking psychedelics. Like I've had such wild conversations, but every single episode has always just giving value.
Yeah. The point that you made there about recruitment's giving you everything, man. I'm from a council estate in Westminster, and I'm very proud to live in a nice cul-de-sac in Surrey now. And like we're looking at schools at the moment. I'm like, I'd never dreamt about all of that sort of stuff, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, I'm with you. I love this industry. I don't like when people talk bad about it. And do you know what? If you're doing stuff you enjoy and you can add some value, like I love spending time with ops people, my junior ops people. Next week I'm hosting the Ops Summit for TRN. Like that's probably my favorite event because it's like my tribe of people.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, I was thinking about launching a pod ages ago. It's one of the reasons why I was looking at the Osmo 3.
Yeah.
I was thinking about I've come up with this like content series, and part of it is a bit pod related, and part of it is like doing stuff out on the street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just
What are you thinking about doing on? Because
nice.
I've had those thoughts before, and then I'm thinking like, when am I going to fit that into my?
I know
week?
that's the problem. Yeah, I just wanted to like potter around places I know recruiters hang out and just try and interview some recruiters like on the fly, just see if you can do it. I go to a couple of like the recruitment events that you go to, but maybe not even inside them, but just like hang out outside.
Yeah.
Like if I know that there's a group of recruitment founders at an event somewhere, I was just gonna go pick up the Osmo 3 and just stand outside.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, do you want to have a chat? But yeah, again, it's the time thing, isn't it? Like I'm not short of ideas on stuff that we could do to make value. It's about how do you balance it, and like the personal life as well, right? I think I'm a great dad. Like I do, my kids are number one priority. Have I been the best partner to my missus this year? Fucking probably not, man. Like reality, like because it's probably been kids, work. And then it's QPR Cheryl. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like it's probably been a bit like that, and that's just not right. So I'm trying to like rebalance, and that's part of the 2 week over Christmas. I want to rebalance life and
Mate, dude,
work out priority
I am
stuff.
literally in the exact same situation. Like since Millie was born pretty much 5 months ago, almost to the day now. Obviously, she's number one priority, right?
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I was going to take 2 weeks off, like not look at my laptop, not look at emails. And I was feeding her at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And then I think after 3 months, I spoke to Rose. I was like, I have to fucking go out and win some business now. Like I was not functioning because I was waking up at like 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then by the time you're like awake and aware,
To
it's
do some
like
work.
it's now 3 and people are like, oh, can you give me a call tomorrow morning? And I just can't do this anymore. So same as you, like definitely baby first, business, and then wife, and obviously dog. Technically, he's my first baby. But yeah, we've got a christening, Millie's christening on Sunday, and me and my wife sat down the other day, and she was just fucking super upset. She was like, it's a Greek Orthodox christening. I'm Irish Catholic. I have no idea about your culture, and you've essentially got me to do everything. And I'm just sat there in my head just like, do you not realise how much I've got going on? I'm doing my own consultancy, I'm setting up a new business, I've got this podcast, I'm training the dog, I'm on site with clients, I've got a Thai boxing competition I'm training for. And then I realised, fuck, actually, do you know what? Like, all we do is sit down and we watch Yellowstone in the evening. That's all. We don't really do much else. So similar to you, I'm like, December, I've got another sprint, a couple weeks, and then when it hit, I think it's 19th is the last Friday of the month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Up until then, just like focus on that. Do you know what I mean? Focus on what's actually important, because you're not. Let's be real. Like for what we do, how much value are you going to actually add during those 2 weeks? I'll be honest. When I was an L&D and a salesperson, because my birthday's the 23rd of December as well. From the 20th of December onwards, nothing.
I mean, everywhere I've ever worked has been 2 weeks shut down anyway, so I've never known any different to it. But that whole rationale of what difference is it going to make? I was like, I always do log on a Sunday. I do that's just for my own, like, I like to know what my week looks like. I would like to know what curveballs are coming up. But then I used to then sit in the office on a Sunday, and I'd put Super Sunday on and then start doing a bit of work. And the next thing, you're like, I've just spent 4 hours on a Sunday here. My kids are in the other room just like watching telly. What am I doing? That's not right. My missus is in there cooking or cleaning or watching telly on her own. So what are you doing? So it's that rebalance, and actually doesn't matter. Does it make a difference? And do you know what? I think when you break it down and go, what is more important from take away money and all that sort of stuff, the mother of your children, the person you love, your fiance, your partner, your wife, being happy, or a guy who you might have met 3 times, twice on Zoom, once in person, having an opinion of you, or having a positive opinion on you. It's like, really? If you think about it, that's one person. You've identified your soulmate, your person. That's your baby mum's. I always call her baby mama. So, and then you got this guy who's like a founder of an agency there's 30,000 of them. Like,
Yeah.
Like, and also, is it reasonable to want to prioritize your kids and stuff over that stuff? Like, some of the founders I work with are phenomenal. They always just push deadlines for they push the deadlines for me. They'll be like, oh, listen, don't worry about that. We don't want you doing it over the weekend. Let's push it to the week after. But yeah, it's such a juggling act managing it. It's quite nice talking to someone actually who's like going through that in a similar way. I think the kid bit is the bit that, because I do have friends that are other solo founders, and but the kid element that is a bit different. I always Kate O'Neill always laughs and jokes. She's like, God, we live such different lives. Like, we'll record cozy, and then I'll be like, yeah, I need to get back. I've got a fucking gymnastics class to take the kids to. She's like, yeah, I'm going to go back and go to the gym. Wicked. But it's good. It's good balance and good insight. And actually, you know what? Actually, me sharing the stories of what I do, if that even makes someone 1% more tolerable of other people they come across who have children and understand the balance of it. Like I said, the people that have me on LinkedIn and Instagram will see what, like, a week in the life of me, like Saturday mornings, everyone laughs. Saturday morning, I wake up, so I don't really drink on a Friday. I'm not really a big Friday drinker. I used to be, lived for a Friday drink. Don't drink on a Friday anymore because Saturday morning is ballet, then it's football, then it's swimming, and usually it's QPR.
Yeah.
So it's a big morning, and then I go off to QPR and then come back. And then Cheryl's running around doing musical theatre class on a Thursday, gymnastics on a Friday. Like, the schedules are ridiculous. We're going through primary school visits at the moment. There's fucking 6 that we've got to go see. The 6th one is tomorrow morning. I can't wait to be done with them. They're all blurring into one now.
Yeah.
And it's like, so there are so many demands on it. And then, like, I haven't even talked about my dad, my brother, my sister, and my friends that I want to be a good friend to. So this was really nice coming here, because last night I got to sit with one of my best friends, Sarah, who lives in Hartford. And we had a Pizza Express takeaway, and she's like, you wouldn't normally get to see him, so you really have to be intentional about where you spend your time 100%. And stuff. And that's what I want to do next year. I want to be more intentional about where my time is. But I think it starts with knowing where you want to spend your business time. Yeah. Because if you're really, really shrewd and like intentional, targeted, know where you want to go, what you enjoy, what makes you money, then you free up the other time to then spend time with everyone else.
100%. I think when you're in like, when I said about the start of the year, I was very much in feast and famine mode, when I was like, fuck, I need to win business and and then you have to prioritize, right? Like, if you're winning loads of business, bills are paid, you're earning good, and you're in the gym loads and all the rest of it, but you're not spending time with your family, then you need to kind of reprioritize and go, well, I've got work scheduled for the next 6 months, so I'm going to prioritize family, then I'll do this, that, and the other. So then there's an aspect of prioritizing, but it is such a difficult balance, isn't it? Because especially like if you've got friendship groups, family, wife, kids, work, like it's just trying to, and I just think it's just a lifelong like experience, isn't it?
That's life. I think that is life now.
That is
balancing me. All my friends are Hertfordshire. Because like originally West and North West London, so everyone moved to Hertfordshire. We live in Egham, which is where Cheryl's from. So it's not even like I've got friends that are 5-10 minutes away. I've got to get around the M25 to go see my friends, which can be long sometimes. But you do have to be really, really like the balancing act is. I don't think I think that's just life now.
I do as well.
We were gonna, I love the fact that we've done a whole episode on like balancing life. This is going to be one of them like life. Like, if you clip this up, it's going to be coming up on like dad in the dad algorithm. We're not even in the recruitment algorithm right now. We are just in dad algorithm. I don't mind it.
This is it. This is the beauty of this podcast. Like this is another thing as well. Like, I've been on pretty much most of the recruitment podcasts, and a lot of them are very much like you book a prep call. And it's like, these are the questions I'm going to ask, and For me, like, let's be real. What prep did we really do? Like, the agenda, there is no topics. Like, we just said,
we said what we were going to talk about, and then we haven't talked about it.
We did a little bit to begin with. We did a little bit.
We did the process.
We've still got another 10-15 minutes to kind of pivot slightly, so the short form does a little bit better. But no, I like talking about that, because at the end of the day, right, like, there are going to be people listening to this that either they're too young to have, or I say too young, but they don't have kids. They may not want to have kids or whatever, but you're still going to have an aspect of your life as a recruiter or a business owner, even if you don't have kids, where you're still trying to balance. Like, when I was a recruiter and I'd work until 9-10 o'clock in the office, and then my friends are like, we haven't seen you in weeks, like, when are we going to hang out? And I'm like, I'm just so engrossed in work, because I know the commission I can earn off the back of it. And then my brother's just like, I don't hang out with you anymore. And I'm like, fuck. So even if you don't have kids, like there is still that balancing act. And I think realistically, people just need to figure that out for themselves. Like they just need to figure out like what is the current priority right now, and how do I make time for the things that are important. And I think what you said, mate, is a big takeaway. Like when it gets to that 2-week cut-off break, like anyone listening to this right this second, like in that 2-week space, just map out like what are your priorities.
Yeah, reset. And like, yeah, if you want to be a 1% better person, you got do you know who I love listening to? Matthew McConaughey. I mean, no homo, but I actually could listen to him talk all the time. Yeah, like genuinely, I actually genuinely enjoy listening to him speak. And he talks about cups. He talks about like cups, like what cup do you need to fill up, like, and do it like that. And I always do, and I try and take stock of that. I'm still no good at it, but that's the main exercise. Like once we know what the work direction, like that's all tactical, strategic. Then it's like which cups do I need to fill up? Like I haven't done a single bit of exercise since August 8th or 9th.
Really?
I did a Tough Mudder. I did a 15k Tough Mudder.
Nice.
Which I signed up for because I wanted it. I really wanted a mental challenge. Physical challenges I'm not that bothered about. Don't get me wrong, they hurt, but
sure.
I can push myself through those. I wanted a real mental challenge. And actually, the mental challenge wasn't that hard. I usually get on with it, right? But the physical challenge was actually quite brutal. Yeah. It's like different terrain. Yeah. Running 15k, my calves went at like 11k, and I was just like hobbled for the last 4. But literally since then, I haven't had a moment, because I had a little lull, and I was like, it wasn't even a lull. I turned down work in July because I thought I was really busy, and then actually got through the work, and I was like, I haven't scheduled or planned this really well. Yeah. Then I had to just get back on the BD hunt, and then I was like, when I'm on that BD mode, you just like turn off. And it's like I'm calling around everyone I know, how's it going, going to events, networking, all that stuff. So yeah, that's a cup I just don't ever look after. Like I just don't look after it. I've been eating a little bit better this year, but like I don't look after my health at all. It's a cup it's not even out of the cupboard. The cup is in the cupboard. I just seem to always go work, money, misses, kids, but health, man, like that's an important thing. So mate, good on you for keeping up the was it Thai boxing?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I posted about this on Sunday when it happened. So I've done, prior to Sunday, I've done 3. So the first one I ever did, the guy that I fought was someone that I trained with before. And every single time he came into the gym, he was a boxer. And he used to do, those boxers that like that head movement and stuff. Thai boxing, you can't do that. You'll get kneed in the face, right? You'll just get your legs kicked out between you. So I used to beat him up in the gym nicely, not like fuck him up, but like just, I try and tell him like, you can't do this because I could just sweep your leg, whatever. Then when I get into the ring, he moved gyms to the gym that was hosting the event, right? And he was wearing neon green gloves and shin guards. And I was like, oh my God, who's this guy? And I just thought, I was told, you go 50%. You go for a scrap, but no one wins, right? It's a simulation of a fight. You're in a ring. There's a massive crowd of hundreds of people. Go for it, but just don't try and knock his head off. Don't do anything silly. What does the guy do? Throws a 15-punch combination, hits me in the face like as hard as he can, and then throws a flying knee in my eye. And the referee goes, whoa, calm down. Like you're going to get kicked out. So I'm looking at my coach like, oh, we're fighting. Oh, okay, cool, we're fighting. So I'm just throwing leg kicks at 100%. The referee goes, mate, you're hitting too hard. I was like, he's hitting me, so I'm hitting him back. Like, what the hell? Long story short, the referee breaks us up and goes, you're gone, out, both. Like, get out the ring. So I said to my coach, I was just like, what the fuck is this? And then the person that worked at the gym was just like, I'm really sorry. Like, it's your first inter-club. It's not meant to be like that. We'll find you someone else. So I fought someone else, and again, it was 50, 60%. It was a good scrap. We hit each other a few times, but we weren't trying to kill each other. We were trying to learn, but in a fight simulator with a crowd. I was like, that was good. Then I think it was 2 years until my next one, and I was so tense. I was just so tense. I was like, deep breathing, looking at my coach. My coach was like, relax. And I was like, like that. Watching the guy on pads, I was like, this guy looks like a fucking pro. Like, oh my God, this guy looks like a pro. I hadn't sparred a lot prior to that interclub, so I was just so nervous. I didn't trust my technique. And because I was so like tense and stiff, everything I threw was at like 80, 90%. So he's throwing low kicks quite hard. I was like, oh, we're fucking fighting. Go on, bang, bang, bang. And every single time he caught my leg, he just threw me on the ground. So I was like, right, I'm going to get my leg and I'm going to twist out and I'm going to do my long guard like to frame off of him. I'd do that, and when I framed off, I've accidentally elbowed him in the back of the head. There's no elbows, there's no knees to the head, there's no head kicks. I threw like 3 head kicks at full power, like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And then when I span out, I've hit him in the back of the head and I've dropped him, and the referee's just picked me up and went, "You're gone." And my coach has gone, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because my nickname in the gym is Spinny Charlie, because like my favourite technique is spinning back fist, right? You can't do that in that fucking event, but because I was so tense
in it,
thinking this is a fight, and I was so embarrassed. And I spoke to my opponent after, and he's a fighter, he's an actual fighter, he's fought on some of the biggest shows, and he was like, "Dude, it's fine." And I was just so nervous. That was in 2021. We're in 2025 now. It's been 4 and a bit years since my last one, and I've got a baby. I'm running a business, setting up a new business. I don't barely do any cardio. I just do a bit of strength training. I've been to be fair, I've been sparring every Saturday for the last 7 months, but everyone in my gym is way less experienced than me. So in my head, I was just so afraid that I'm going to get in there with a fighter and just get embarrassed.
Yeah.
And everyone in my gym who looks up to me, I'm like 10, 15 years older than everyone else. Everyone's going to look at their experienced fighter in the gym and I'm going to get battered. Yeah. So the morning of, it's like 3 degrees in the morning. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm tired. I've just done 15 rounds sparring the day before. I can't be arsed. And then I just thought in my head, I've got this voice going, "If you don't go, you look like a fucking pussy." And everyone in the gym is going to be like, "Hang on, we're like 6 months experience. You've been doing this 7, 8 years and you're not going to go." Yeah. So I thought, fuck it. I'll bring my gear, but I'm just going to go and support them. So I come in, my coach is like, "Oh, you're here, like that. Are you weighing in?" I was like, "Oh, I was just going to support the guys." And the other guy was like, "You've brought your stuff, you're fighting." And I was like, "I'll weigh in then." I weighed in, and my coach was just like, "How are you feeling?" And I was like, "Can I have just a chat with you? I've nearly had like 3 panic attacks this morning." And he was like, "Why?" He's like, "Mate," and the thing is like from his perspective, he's seen me spar every Saturday morning for 7 months now. He sees how good I am, but and this is true for everyone, right? In your own head, you don't see what a coach sees, right? Yeah. And in my own head, I'm just like, oh, I'm shit. Like, okay, I'm good against the juniors, but like, I'm gonna get fucking embarrassed. Yeah. I'm shit. I'm not warm. I'm fucking, I'm tired. I've not been sleeping properly. I'm just not in the right fucking headspace. So much so, I had an anxiety poo and clogged the toilet that day, right, in the gym, nice. And there was people knocking on the door, and I'm just sat there freaking out in the toilet, like, I can't believe this is happening on this day. I don't need this, like that. And then I started to warm the boys up, and as soon as I started to warm up, and then all the rest of it, my coach came and whispered in my ear and went, "If you just trust your technique, trust your Thai boxing, you'll be fine. Yeah. And have a smile on your face, mate. Don't be all tense. The more you smile, the more you relax."
You do relax.
And then when I saw who I was going to fight, my coach whispered in my ear and was just like, "They're a real gym. They're real fighters. You're not going to get some spazzy junior that's going to throw everything 100%. Smile." So I'd done my best. I looked at my opponent, smiled at him, looked at his corner, went over and touched everyone's gloves. And we did it. And after, it's a 1.5 rounds with 15-second break, 3 rounds. After the first minute, I gassed out. Because I've done no sprint sort of cardio. It's just been like slow, whatever. And then my coach was like, "Why aren't you throwing your kicks?" I was like, "I have no idea." He was like, "Right, throw kicks, threw kicks." I was like, "Great." Kicked him in the stomach, his gum shield fell out. I was like, "Oh, my kicks are working." Got into the clinch. Because I've only been doing strength, he couldn't move me. I was like, "Oh, I'm actually strong." I used to be really skinny. And then the bell goes, and it goes, "Time." And I looked at my opponent, I made it through the 3 rounds. I didn't get kicked out. All of a sudden, that little voice in the back of my head, that anxiety voice, completely disappeared. I hugged my coach. I was like, "I can't believe it." It's like, I want to do another one. I just want to do another one now. And I'm like, I'm so excited that I fucking got through that mental hurdle. And I was speaking to my mum after as well. And I was like, two like positive voices in my head. First thing was, I'm obviously going to post about this on LinkedIn. I proclaim to be a business development and mindset coach. That was a big obstacle for me. For some people, it's like, whatever, it's not even a real fight. Yeah. For me, it was a big obstacle. So if I can share the story of how I got through that real crippling anxiety, that's going to help others. And for me, a big thing is helping others. Second thing is, I've got a 8-year-old nephew who looks up to me, right, and wants to get into martial arts. And I've got a daughter that when she's older and she's going to go through that, this is a story to help her.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So amazing. For me, I was just like, and for martial arts, like to your point about the health stuff, I notice if I don't work out, especially martial arts, if I don't do martial arts, I'm an absolute see next Tuesday. I'm horrible to be around. I'm actually horrible.
My equivalent to that is, if I don't get any social interaction, like I need like, that's why the season ticket, the QPR season ticket is so important for me. I actually it's just 4 hours screaming songs and stuff that is my release. And if I don't get that, I do get a bit like pent up. But that Michelle Flynn, who everyone knows and loves, I love Michelle Flynn, and I've known her for ages, right? And I see her at all the events, and we're always like hugging, hello, how are you? Da, da, da. I've turned up to speak at an event, and Flinny walks through the door. I'm like, yes, Flinny, what's happening? Big hug, hello, how are you? Laughs, giggles, da da da. We'll have a beer afterwards. And then I was like, oh, you speaking? She was like, yeah, you. I went, yeah. All right, so like, wicked, let's go. And then I always sit in the front row at expos and talks. It's just my thing. I think you just got to give the speaker respect and don't get distracted, listen. Plus, I like to turn the note taker on my laptop so I can pick it up. And so she knows I say that all the time. So she was like, let's go front row. So we sit down. And then the guy did the intro. And then I could tell, I knew she said that she was up first. And I turned around to her just before she went up. And I went, fucking, I've got no idea what you do for a living, you know. Like, no idea whatsoever.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, this would be informative then anyway. So she goes up and does her thing. And she did a whole session on imposter syndrome. And I'm sat there going, oh my God, this is not what I needed to hear before I go on it. Because it was a bit of a different audience. It was a finance audience, finance and recruitment audience. I sat there and I was, and then do you know what? That piece around smile, because it relaxes you. I got taught that by a guy really early on in my recruitment career, one of my directors, and he's like, if you make them smile, they'll relax. And he was always a bit of a character. He was very witty, very quick-witted. So I always try and make people laugh at the beginning of BD meetings. I'll always try and say a joke or refer to something funny that's happened. And so I opened with, that's a perfect fucking introduction to speaking in front of a crowd you've never spoken to, and everyone laughed. And then you could feel the room just go, and then for me, I just went like that. And but yeah, Flinny talks about imposter syndrome and that anxiety piece around that. It's so interesting. And like, there's loads of personas of imposter syndrome, which I never knew. I genuinely, it was the most educational talk I've been to.
Yeah.
And I think we worked it out. I am the Superman imposter syndrome, which means I just do the most because I feel like I shouldn't be there. So I overwork.
Is there a way that I can go and test to see who I am?
Yeah. She's got I think it's like a little flywheel thing that is on her website or stuff.
Okay, I'll check it out.
I think she might have WhatsApped me it before. I'll send it to you. But yeah, I was a Superman imposter, which is you don't think you should be there, so you try and do everything. And then you overwork and you overcompensate, and that's what you do.
Okay.
So that's what that one was. But there's loads in there.
I feel like I'm kind of like that with work as well. Like, I'll have a really good week and feel like I've not done enough, and then I'll just get burnt out. Yeah. And then with the sport, I've recorded every single sparring footage for literally 7 months, and I watch it back, and I'm like, oh, he looks really good. But then going into like the competition and stuff, I'm like, I'm shit.
Yeah,
it's really weird. And
yeah.
like, I was speaking to my coach about it, and I was like, you hear a lot of like UFC fighters and pro boxers and Thai boxers like self-hate, and they're thinking like they shouldn't be there and stuff like that. And it's psychologically, it's so interesting because there's evidence there.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? There's evidence there of success, but then there's that voice in the back of your head that's like, nah, you're shit.
Nah. I think everyone suffers from that. And do you know what? One of my clients does this thing with his recruiters. He did it yesterday. What was it called? He gets everyone to breathe in. So something happens. He says, new data received. What next? So he makes people say that. So when something happens, new information received or something like that. Look at me making it about tech. So yeah, it was new information received. So he's like, something's happened in the process. Like, clients come back and offered too low. Everyone's sitting there going, fucking, why they do that? Stop. Breathe, big breath in, big breath out. New information received. What next? So it's like, okay, cool. We just got some new information. Like, what are we gonna do next? No emotion. No fucking. What are they doing? No. Because your brain goes to fuck my deal. I'm not gonna close it or commission. I spent like all this sort of stuff, and it's just like, and I love that idea. So I've actually started doing that myself now. Like, new information received. I do it mid calls. Like, if I'm on a tough project call where deadlines are about to slip because one of the software providers hasn't done something, and I've got to relay that back to a founder. It's like, okay, cool. Every time I get a bad update, negative update about a project, that's how I operate now. I'm like, right, new information received. What do we need to do next? So your first response sometimes can be, fucking, you shit cunt. Like, nice one. Like, that's fucking like, you're literally your only job, you waste man. Why is this not done? But actually, that shouldn't be your reaction. And actually, your job as a consultant and PM is to see things through, deliver outcomes, and that new information received, breathe in, breathe out. It's a game changer.
Yeah, it massively helps. Really, really does. Cool, man. Well, look, we've talked about a lot.
I don't feel we need to go on if to squeeze anything in.
No, because there was one thing that I did want to ask you about, and we don't need to speak too long about it, but obviously, I said to you at the start, I've spoken to a lot of businesses that are reducing tech stack, and I don't think that, look, listen, when we were setting Milo up and Naz's idea was like, let's incorporate some sort of AI, my immediate response was, I don't want to just have something that just has AI on it. Like when the Samsung update came along, it was like AI, and it's like, it's not. Like, it's always been like, we've had Bixby and Siri and stuff, it's technically whatever.
Yeah.
But I know of so many businesses that have invested so much money in, I would call unnecessary tech. Stuff that's just like, you don't really need that. The guy that was the episode, when this comes out, would be 2 episodes ago. He talked about now they've got CRM, LinkedIn, Sourcewell license, data scraping tool, a VoIP system. And he was like, everything else, we just eliminated. We don't really need it.
Was that Austin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. That other one I watched this morning.
Yeah.
I've actually met him before. I met him in Glasgow at a team event. I think he was invited on as a guest. Yeah, good, nice bloke. There's some people that have just bought loads of tech for the fucking sake of buying tech, and they've been sold to. Like, I've got one client who I know every 3 months he's going to call me, because every 3 months he seems to buy something new, and he's like, how do we put it in? And so I know I'm going to get a call from him every 3 months, but some of it's not that. Some of it's people who have bought products because they solve real problems and they've rolled it out well. Adoption's been good. There's a direct ROI. But what happens is you start making a bit less money. You're looking at your spend. These license costs go up all the time. You might have reduced in headcount, but you're carrying a bit of extra weight on your licenses. The problem is that products are developing at such a rate of knots. Sourcewell's a good one, right? They're your new sponsor, aren't they? Yeah, Sourcewell. Yeah, I love the guys at Sourcewell. Doogie was showing me the new CRM the other day. I think it's brilliant. I was in karaoke with Tim and Ben on Thursday after the Thanksgiving party, actually. We won't talk about that. But like those guys, if you just take Sourcewell, for example, so you would have bought Sourcewell back in the day because you needed like a sequencing campaign, BD, productivity platform. I can't remember the system of work, how they used to describe it, right? And it's a fucking great product. Like, it's such a good product. Then they got the dialer. Then they got the mail agent. Then they got so they've like expanded as you would. Now they have a CRM. Yeah. Right. So if you bought the outreach tool back in the day, the sequencing campaign stuff back in the day, you would have had a scraper as well. You would have had a contact scraping tool or a contact credit score enrichment tool as well. But then they started doing that. So now you've got 2 products that do the same thing, but they're licensed, they're contracted. So you've got an overlap of contract, you've got an overlap of feature. So a lot of the tech debt-y type stuff that's built up over the last few years is because products are developing faster and you've ended up with the overlap. But we still are an industry that suffer from buying, from procuring services and technology poorly. Austin's tech stack there that he was talking about, that is perfect. But the thing is like, even within that, there's degrees of variation. So you could have VoIP, you could have Ring Central, which is basic, or you could have Device, which does lots of stuff. And then CRM, you could have a Gig, which is super simple, very useful, very simple UI, or you could have Bullhorn and all its bells and whistles. So even within that, there's variations, like in terms of like levels, because you can have that tech stack, but one could be a lot more expensive than the other. One could be a lot more powerful than the other. It's about what you need. And actually, I spoke to Luke from Gig driving up to Hartford yesterday. He's still signing up customers who are specifically looking for simple products. And I think there's a huge market for simplicity. Like all of the noise in the industry is around AI, this, that, the other, whizzy, shiny, this. That's the noise that's in there. That's just because it's jumping on a macroeconomic trend, right? But if you speak to founders and you speak to agency owners, especially the smaller lifestyle businesses, nothing wrong with lifestyle businesses. My business is a lifestyle business. They are not here for the complexity. They don't need the whizzy, shiny stuff, right? They're not like trying to supercharge a sales floor of 40 consultants, and they're not looking for silver bullets. They know their process. They know what works. They know what they need to do. They know every step in the process to make placements in their market with their knowledge. They need a system that supports that. And that's it. So, I think there's a huge market for simplicity. I'm an independent consultant, so I don't, no referral fees, no kickbacks, and etc. None of that. It's funny because new salespeople from RecTech companies all connect with me. always. And I always say to them, like, if we're out having a beer or whatever, I'm like, listen, I'm not like your best mate. Your customer success people. I'm a rec tech customer success person's dream person to be part of, because I always recommend making your current system work. Like lifting and shifting CRMs is a huge exercise. I liken it to buying a house, right? Like there's loads of fees, there's loads of costs, it costs to move, and then no one knows where anything fucking is for 6 months, right? So your loss of productivity is unreal, right? And actually, when you ask people why they want to move, and you really go to, earlier I was talking about like that root cause analysis, and it's like, well, do your current supplier know you're unhappy? No, we haven't told them. All right, fucking, well, they can't solve a problem that they don't know about, right? So, and then it's like, well, how often do you speak to them? What have you done internally? Have you done training? Have you got docs? There's so much stuff that needs to be done before you go, fuck, I'm moving house. That's like being in here and I don't know, like the curtain pole falls off and then you go to your missus, that's it. We're fucking moving to Dubai. It's like, that's an irrational response to it, right? It's such an irrational response to it, and that's what I feel happens a lot at the moment, specifically to the CRM market.
I see a lot of irrationale with CRMs, a lot.
It's the number one inquiry by like 90%, I'd say.
Really?
The number one thing, I've become the CRM guy, which is good because I will tell people practical stuff around it, and it's a great segue or an opener for me to uncover the other stuff that's happening, because it starts with CRM. Oh, what CRM should we move to? And then it turns into, fuck, no one's picking up the phone. Or we don't know how to qualify anything. So, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, look, I think we could talk about so many things for a long time. But yeah, I've really appreciated this, man. I think it's been such a broad conversation. Like we've spoken about life stuff, business stuff, family stuff. Yeah, good stuff, man. So, as you know, every episode finishes off with the same question. Following this particular episode, how can people get 1% better in recruitment?
If you don't already, go and map your processes. So if you are a resourcer, map your resourcing process. If you're an account manager, map your AM process. If you're a BD gun, go and map your processes step by step, what tech you use, and start thinking about how long it takes in each step. Just map one process. Just learn the mindset that you need and the analysis you have to do behind that. Just do that with what you do the most every single day and review it. And I promise you'll be enlightened by it, because until you jot it out and write it out and think about it intentionally, you can't improve it. My favorite one-liner is, you cannot improve what you do not measure. And that's the best way to start doing it.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. So in terms of who to reach out to you and how to reach out to you, tell people.
LinkedIn. My name is Saeed Bor on LinkedIn. But everyone calls me Sai. So say Sai if you do message me, because then I'll know you've had then I'll know you're not selling me something. But yeah, LinkedIn's definitely the best way to get hold of me. Saeed Bor, founder of Embedded Ops.
Wicked. Awesome, man. Thank you very much for coming on. And for anyone that's made it this far, I'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. I hope you've enjoyed. As I've said before, if you are not subscribing and following on whatever platform it is that you're listening or watching this podcast on, please go and do that. It really, really helps the show. I've got a monthly newsletter that gives you a roundup of every single episode. We're securing sponsorship to grow the podcast and make it better. For people that have been listening or watching to this podcast from the early days, you would have seen a natural progression in terms of the production quality, a lot more face-to-face interviews, etc. So we're only going to get better. We're planning on doing events. We're planning on having some incredible people on. So do us a favor, like, comment, subscribe, all those types of good things, and reach out to me. Let me know what your best episode is. Let me know who you'd want to see on the podcast. And if you are also interested yourself, I've always got space for cool people that want to share things that they're really, really passionate about. So here's to getting 1% better. Here's to elevating the recruitment industry. And I'll see you next week.